Imagine holding a small piece of history in the palm of your hand. A coin so ordinary yet so extraordinary that it has collectors across the country leaning in with wide eyes. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny is one of those fascinating pieces. At first glance, it may look just like any other penny in your change, but to the careful eye, it tells a story of minting mistakes, rarity, and a legacy that reaches far beyond its copper surface. Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of this coin, uncovering why it has captivated collectors for decades and what makes it potentially worth thousands of dollars. The 1969 D. Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, a series that started in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The D mint mark indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' primary coin-producing facilities. In normal circumstances, a 1969 D penny is a common coin, but certain versions, specifically those with rare errors, have elevated it to near-legendary status among collectors. Understanding why requires looking at the year itself and the circumstances of the U.S. Mint at the time. 1969 was a turbulent year in American history, marked by the moon landing, widespread social change, and cultural shifts. The U.S. Mint, like any other government facility, was operating under tight production schedules to meet demand for circulating coins. At this time, pennies were made primarily of a bronze alloy, 95% copper, with the remaining 5% a mixture of tin and zinc. This composition would remain standard until the early 1980s, when rising copper prices led to the introduction of the steel core penny. The Lincoln penny, with its familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat ears on the reverse, was already iconic by 1969, but that year also produced coins with subtle anomalies that have since fascinated numismatists. One of the most talked-about varieties of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny is the double-die obverse, often abbreviated as DDO. This error occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect on letters, numbers, or parts of the image. On the 1969 D penny, collectors are particularly interested in the doubling of Lincoln's date and parts of the word liberty. This kind of error is extremely rare and wasn't widely recognized until decades after the coins were minted. The double die gives the coin a three-dimensional look in certain light, making it appear almost as if it were carved by hand. The rarity of the 1969 D double die penny is part of what drives its value. Out of millions of pennies minted that year, only a small fraction exhibit the significant doubling that collectors prize. Many coins are dismissed as ordinary because the doubling is subtle or not present at all. This scarcity makes each verified example highly sought after in the collector community. In fact, some examples of the 1969 D double die obverse penny have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auctions, and the most pristine, high-grade coins can even reach over $100,000. Real-life auction records help illustrate the coin's significance. In recent years, a certified 1969 D Lincoln penny with a strong double die obverse and near-perfect condition sold at auction for more than $70,000. Another example in exceptionally high grade fetched over $100,000 from a dedicated collector who understood the coin's place in history. These prices may seem astronomical for a penny, but they reflect the rarity, the error, and the passionate market of numismatics. Identifying a real 1969 D double die penny requires careful examination. Experts recommend using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin's date and lettering. The key feature is the distinct doubling on Lincoln's cheek, the word liberty, and the last digit of the date. Counterfeit or misattributed coins exist, so it's essential to consult certified grading services like PCGS or NGC when considering a purchase. A real coin will have a certain weight, color, and sharpness of detail consistent with genuine 1969 Denver mint pennies, while fakes often show unnatural shadows, uneven lines, or signs of tampering. Beyond its technical details, the 1969 D penny holds a number of surprising stories. For instance, the doubled die was the result of a misalignment during the die preparation process at the mint, a rare human error in an otherwise highly automated operation. Some collectors believe that only a handful of these coins escaped notice and circulated, which is why finding one in good condition today is like uncovering a tiny hidden treasure. Another interesting fact is that this coin helped fuel the study of double die errors, inspiring collectors to scrutinize coins for subtle anomalies, thus elevating numismatics as both a science and a passion. Collectors love the 1969 D Lincoln penny for its blend of history, rarity, and visual intrigue. Holding one is like holding a tangible piece of 1960s America, a decade that was transformative in countless ways. The coin's imperfections tell a story of human error, technological limits, and the thrill of discovery. For many, it represents not just a potential investment, but a connection to a bygone era when something as small as a penny could capture national attention. Collectors enjoy showing it to friends and family, pointing out the doubled features, and recounting the incredible auction prices it has commanded. It's a conversation starter, a learning tool, and a source of pride. The 1969 D Lincoln penny also sparks curiosity because it challenges the idea that all coins are equal. Something so common and overlooked in your pocket could, under the right circumstances, be worth thousands of dollars. This idea resonates with anyone who has inherited coins, found change in a drawer, or simply appreciates history in everyday objects. It reminds us that history is layered and full of surprises, and that careful observation can reveal value where it is least expected. Even today, collectors search through rolls of pennies, hopeful they might uncover this elusive coin. Some succeed, others rely on auctions and dealers to complete their collections. Either way, the story of the 1969 D Lincoln penny continues to inspire excitement, curiosity, and a sense of discovery. It's a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold incredible stories, and that history is often hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you reach for a penny, consider the possibility that it might be more than just a coin. Among millions, there might be one with a subtle doubling that tells a story spanning decades. A story of a minting error, of collectors' fascination, and of a small, copper coin that became legendary. Could the next penny you pick up be one of those rare, history-filled 1969 D Lincoln pennies? That possibility alone keeps collectors searching, examining, and dreaming. In the end, the 1969 D Lincoln penny is more than currency. It's a bridge to history, a testament to the unexpected, and a tiny artifact that can capture the imagination. Its rarity, its errors, and its story have secured its place in the annals of coin collecting. And while millions of pennies from 1969 circulated unnoticed, the few that bear the double die mark have forever changed the way collectors see what might otherwise be an ordinary coin. Every glance, every examination, and every auction reminds us that even in the simplest objects, extraordinary stories can be found. The 1969 D Lincoln penny may look like any other at first, but to those who know its secret, it is a treasure waiting to be discovered. Could you be holding a piece of numismatic history right now? Only a careful eye and a little curiosity can tell. And that is the magic of collecting, the chance that something tiny, overlooked, and seemingly ordinary can turn out to be truly priceless. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but could quietly be worth thousands. The 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is one of those rare treasures, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Today, we're going to dive into its story, uncover its secrets, and show you why this little penny has become a fascinating piece of American history. The 1976 Lincoln penny, like all pennies, features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on its front. But what sets this penny apart is the absence of a mint mark, the tiny letter that usually tells you which U.S. mint produced the coin. While many pennies from this year have a D for Denver or a S for San Francisco, this particular coin appears to have come from Philadelphia, but with a twist. In 1976, the Philadelphia Mint did not always mark its coins with the traditional P, making certain coins from this year extremely rare. To understand the significance, we have to look back at 1976. This was the year of the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The government issued special coins to celebrate this milestone, including quarters, half dollars, and dollars featuring the Liberty Bell and the moon landing. Standard coins like the penny, however, continued to circulate without a specific bicentennial design, making them less flashy but no less historically important. The Lincoln penny of 1976 is made primarily of copper, with just a small amount of zinc. Its design remains true to the classic 1909 Lincoln portrait, a profile that honors his role in preserving the Union during one of the nation's most challenging times. On the reverse, you find the familiar Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of lasting legacy and reverence. But collectors are not just interested in what is present, they are fascinated by what is missing. In the case of the no mint mark penny, the absence of a mint letter becomes a mark of rarity. So why is this coin rare or valuable? For one, it is the scarcity that drives interest. In 1976, most coins produced at Philadelphia would carry the P mint mark, but a limited number of pennies somehow escaped with no mark at all. These coins are not the result of intentional error coins for collectors, but accidental oversights during production. Because these pennies are few in number, they have naturally become sought after. Collectors know that owning one is like holding a quiet piece of minting history, a coin that could have easily gone unnoticed in a pocket or jar for decades. Auction records highlight just how much interest there is in this coin. A 1976 no mint mark penny in excellent condition can sell for several $100s, far above the standard face value. Coins graded as uncirculated or in near-perfect condition have fetched even higher amounts, sometimes exceeding $1,000 in private sales. For comparison, a typical 1976 penny with a mint mark is worth just a few cents, showing how rarity alone can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collectible. Identifying a real 1976 no mint mark penny requires careful attention. First, check the front of the coin. Look for the Lincoln portrait and examine the area just above the date. There should be no letter, no D, no S, and certainly no faint ghost of a mint mark. Next, study the edges and the overall surface. Authentic pennies will show consistent wear if circulated or crisp details if uncirculated, without suspicious scratches or tampering. Counterfeiters sometimes try to grind off mint marks from regular pennies, but careful observation usually reveals inconsistencies, like uneven surfaces or signs of alteration. Using a magnifying glass and comparing the coin to verified examples is always a good practice. There are some fun and surprising details about this coin that collectors love to talk about. For one, the 1976 penny was produced during a year of enormous change in U.S. coinage. The country was celebrating its 200th birthday, and yet, in the rush to meet demand, small production anomalies like no mint mark pennies occurred. It's a reminder that even in the midst of planning grand celebrations, human error and mechanical quirks can create lasting legacies. Some collectors even speculate about how many of these pennies exist today, and while exact numbers are unknown, estimates suggest only a few thousand may have survived in pristine condition. Collectors also love this coin because it represents a tangible connection to a very specific moment in American history. It's not just a penny, it's a conversation starter, a small but powerful artifact from the nation's bicentennial year. Many collectors enjoy holding it while imagining the world in 1976. People buying groceries with cash, children saving pennies in jars, and the excitement surrounding the nation's 200th birthday celebrations. Owning this penny is like owning a tiny time capsule. Beyond its rarity, the 1976 no-mint mark penny carries a sense of mystery. Unlike modern coins, which are carefully tracked and produced in vast numbers, coins from this era were made under less automated, less scrutinized conditions. That means small anomalies like missing mint marks could and did happen, leaving collectors with a treasure hunt rather than a guaranteed set. Every time one of these pennies surfaces, it sparks excitement and curiosity in the coin-collecting community. Even casual collectors find themselves drawn to it because of its subtle uniqueness. It's not flashy, it's not gold or silver, and yet it tells a story. That story is about chance, history, and the small details that can turn an everyday object into a valuable collectible. Owning a 1976 no-mint mark penny is a way to participate in that story, to hold a piece of history that few others have in their hands. Today, collectors of all levels are seeking out this coin. Hobbyists hunt through old jars and collections, professional dealers scan estate sales, and online marketplaces buzz with the occasional rare listing. Each coin offers the same quiet promise: a chance to connect with history, a potential for financial value, and the thrill of owning something truly uncommon. So, the next time you find an old penny, take a closer look. Could it be one of the rare 1976 no-mint mark pennies? It may appear ordinary, but sometimes the most ordinary-looking objects hide extraordinary stories. The Lincoln penny has been in American pockets for over a century, and yet coins like this one remind us that even the most familiar items can hold surprises. Imagine the moment you discover one, holding a coin that has passed through countless hands, survived decades of change, and quietly waited for someone to notice its uniqueness. The 1976 no-mint mark penny is not just a collectible, it's a small, tangible piece of history, a mystery that continues to fascinate collectors today. And who knows? The next penny you pick up might just be the rare treasure that sparks your own connection to the past. Every coin has a story, but the 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a story full of curiosity, history, and unexpected value. It's a reminder that even in the smallest corners of our everyday lives, remarkable things can be waiting to be discovered. Keep your eyes open, your hands ready, and your curiosity alive. You never know which penny could turn into a piece of history in your collection. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand and realizing it could be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. A coin so ordinary that millions pass through people's fingers, yet one tiny detail can make it extraordinary. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has quietly captured the fascination of collectors across the United States. You might think of pennies as common, everyday coins, but this one has a story that's anything but ordinary. By the end of this video, you'll know why some pennies from 1978 can make a serious impact in a collector's collection. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of a long line of 1-cent coins honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday, the Lincoln cent has gone through small changes over the years, but its image has remained largely the same. In 1978, the United States Mint produced millions of these pennies across its Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Coins minted in Philadelphia usually do not carry a mint mark, while those from Denver feature a small D beneath the date. This simple detail, the absence or presence of a mint mark, has played a major role in the coin's collectability. The year 1978 itself is interesting in the context of U.S. coinage. It was a time when inflation was a rising concern, and the penny remained a symbol of small everyday transactions. Millions of people carried Lincoln pennies in their wallets, used them for parking meters, vending machines, and loose change jars. Despite its ubiquity, certain coins from this year have captured the attention of collectors due to subtle errors and unique characteristics. What sets the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny apart is both its history and its subtle quirks. Like other pennies from this era, it is made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. The obverse, or front of the coin, features Abraham Lincoln facing right, while the reverse depicts the Lincoln Memorial, a design that has been familiar to collectors for decades. What makes the no-mint mark version special is that it comes directly from the Philadelphia Mint, which, in some cases, produced coins with slightly different striking qualities than the Denver Mint. Some of the most sought-after 1978 pennies show slight variations or errors, which are a big part of what drives their value. These errors can include doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet marks, tiny flaws that occur during the minting process. While not all 1978 no-mint mark pennies are valuable, those with these distinctive errors can be highly prized by collectors who are always on the lookout for coins that stand out from the millions of standard pennies produced that year. The rarity of this coin comes from a combination of these subtle details and condition. While millions of standard 1978 pennies exist, examples that are uncirculated, show minting errors, or have been preserved exceptionally well are much harder to find. Collectors prize these pennies for their condition and their story, rather than just their age. Even among no-mint mark coins from Philadelphia, only a small fraction meet the criteria to be considered rare or highly collectible. To put the value into perspective, most circulated 1978 pennies are worth their face value, just 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, or with a notable minting error, the story changes dramatically. For example, coins that are graded MS65 or higher by professional coin grading services can fetch anywhere from $20 to several $100, depending on the exact nature of their condition and any unique features. Some rare error pennies from the same year have sold at auction for more than $1,000, proving that even coins that seem ordinary can carry extraordinary value in the eyes of the right collector. Identifying a genuine 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is surprisingly simple if you know what to look for. First, check the absence of a mint mark beneath the date, which indicates it came from the Philadelphia Mint. Examine the date and letters for uniformity. Minor doubling or raised edges can suggest an error. The coin should have a consistent copper tone, though color can vary slightly with age. And while most fakes are rare, being aware of the coin's weight and dimensions can help you spot a counterfeit. The official specifications are 19.05 millimeters in diameter and 2.5 grams in weight. These small details matter because collectors are meticulous about authenticity. There are also some fun and surprising details about the 1978 penny that make it more than just a piece of copper. For example, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse actually contains a tiny representation of Lincoln himself seated inside the monument, a detail most people never notice. Coins from this era can also reveal subtle clues about the mint's operations at the time, including variations in pressure used during striking, which affect how sharp the details appear. These small quirks turn an ordinary penny into a miniature piece of history, a snapshot of the country at a particular moment in time. Collectors love the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny not just for its potential monetary value, but for the story it tells. Owning one is like holding a piece of 1970s America in your hand, complete with all the small imperfections and history that come with everyday life. It connects the present to the past, allowing collectors to appreciate the artistry, process, and even the tiny accidents that make some coins truly unique. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just enjoys finding rare coins in circulation, this penny has a charm that is hard to resist. And perhaps the most fascinating aspect is that this coin could be sitting in your pocket, your wallet, or an old jar of change right now. Among the millions minted, only a few may carry the qualities that make them highly sought after. That possibility, holding a coin that is worth far more than its face value, keeps collectors excited and constantly searching. So the next time you find a 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, take a closer look. You might just have more than a penny. It could be a rare treasure waiting to be discovered. In the end, the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a reminder that ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. It teaches us to look closer, to appreciate details, and to remember that history is often hidden in plain sight. For collectors, it represents curiosity, knowledge, and the thrill of discovery. And for anyone interested in coins, it's an invitation to explore, to examine, and maybe even to uncover something remarkable that has been in circulation for decades. The next penny you pick up might be more than change. It could be a piece of history worth remembering. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. A coin so rare that even seasoned collectors sometimes question whether it truly exists. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and mysterious coins in American history, the 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might look like just another ordinary penny, but appearances can be deceiving. What makes this coin so special, and why could it change the way you look at your spare change forever? The 1980 Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. By 1980, these pennies were a common sight in every pocket and cash register across the United States. Nearly everyone used them, yet most people never thought of them as collectible treasures. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while those produced in Denver had a small D to indicate their origin. But here's where the mystery begins. A very small number of 1980 pennies appear to have no mint mark, even though records show Philadelphia wasn't supposed to produce unmarked coins that year. The year 1980 itself was an interesting time for the United States. The country was in the midst of economic change, with inflation on the rise and the metal composition of coins becoming more scrutinized. Lincoln pennies at this time were made of a copper-plated zinc composition, a change from the solid copper pennies used before 1982. This means that the 1980 penny was already transitioning toward the modern coin we recognize today. The basic design, however, remained unchanged. On the obverse, we have the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, looking calm and resolute, a figure Americans have trusted for over a century. On the reverse, there's the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of enduring legacy. It's simple, iconic, and familiar, but hidden within that familiarity lies a secret. What sets the 1980 no mint mark penny apart isn't its design, but its rarity. Most 1980 pennies were minted with standard characteristics, but the few that lack a mint mark create an anomaly that collectors obsess over. Coins like these are sometimes the result of minting errors or unique production circumstances. In some cases, the lack of a mint mark could be due to an accidental omission on the die used in Philadelphia. While errors happen in coin production, the fact that this specific penny is associated with a specific year and no mint mark makes it extraordinarily rare. When collectors spot one, it becomes an object of fascination, curiosity, and potentially incredible value. The value of a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be astounding. While a typical 1980 penny is worth only its face value, a verified no mint mark example can command tens of thousands of dollars at auction. There have even been reports of some coins selling for over $100,000, depending on condition and verification, by professional grading services. These coins are graded on factors like luster, scratches, and overall preservation. A penny that looks nearly untouched, with its coppery shine intact, could be worth more than a car or even a modest house in some markets. For collectors, it's the thrill of discovering something rare and the potential financial reward that makes these coins so compelling. Identifying a real 1980 no-mint mark penny is not as simple as glancing at a coin. Many fakes and altered coins exist, often created by removing a D mint mark from Denver coins or misrepresenting a coin's provenance. Experts recommend examining the coin under magnification. The edges should be smooth and consistent, the design sharp, and the metal should show no signs of tampering. Collectors often look for subtle differences in the die strike, including the shape of Lincoln's features and the lettering on the reverse. Verification through a trusted grading service is almost always necessary. This ensures authenticity and protects both the buyer and the seller from costly mistakes. There are also fun and surprising details about this coin that make it even more fascinating. For instance, the Lincoln penny is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, and yet errors like the 1980 no-mint mark are incredibly rare. It's a reminder that even in a world of mass production, anomalies can slip through. Some collectors believe that finding one of these coins is almost like catching lightning in a bottle, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that turns everyday objects into historic treasures. Collectors love the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for more than its financial value. It represents a connection to history, a tangible link to the past, and a piece of the story of American currency. Owning one is like holding a secret that only a few people in the world know about. It's a conversation starter, a source of pride, and a testament to the allure of collecting. Each coin carries not just the image of Lincoln, but the story of the minting process, the historical context of its year, and the incredible rarity that elevates it from ordinary to extraordinary. The fascination with this coin continues to grow. Collectors eagerly search through rolls of pennies, hoping to find that elusive no-mint mark version. Online forums and coin shows are filled with discussions, tips, and debates about the authenticity and value of these coins. Some enthusiasts even travel long distances to examine potential examples in person. The excitement isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the joy of connecting with history, and the possibility of uncovering something truly unique. So next time you reach into your pocket or your change jar, take a moment to consider what you're holding. Among the everyday coins, there could be one that holds a story, a secret, and a staggering potential value. The 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of rarity, a piece of history, and a reminder that even in something as small as a penny, extraordinary surprises can exist. Could one of these pennies be sitting unnoticed in your collection right now? The mystery continues, waiting for the next careful eye to uncover it. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny teaches us to look closer, to question what we assume to be ordinary, and to recognize the hidden treasures in our everyday lives. It's a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike, and it continues to spark curiosity decades after it was made. If you ever come across a penny that seems just a little different, hold on to it, examine it carefully, and maybe, just maybe, you're holding a piece of history that few others will ever see. In the end, the story of this coin is not just about money or rarity. It's about discovery, curiosity, and the timeless appeal of uncovering something extraordinary in the ordinary. One coin, one small object, can open the door to a world of history, mystery, and incredible possibility. The question is, are you ready to find it? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, yet most people pass it by every day without noticing. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in American history, the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. What makes this ordinary-looking copper penny extraordinary, and why are collectors willing to pay shocking sums to get their hands on it? By the end of this video, you'll see pennies in a completely new light. The coin we're talking about is a standard 1-cent piece from 1984. On its face, it carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, a design that has graced the penny since 1909. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American history and pride. At first glance, it seems like any penny that might be lying in a jar on your counter. But there's one detail, or rather the absence of one, that sets this coin apart. It has no mint mark. To understand why this matters, we need to look back at the history of the Lincoln penny. By 1984, the United States had been producing these 1-cent coins for 75 years. Typically, pennies are stamped with a tiny letter near the date to indicate where they were minted. A D stands for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and coins without a mint mark usually come from Philadelphia. But in 1984, a small number of pennies were struck without this identifying mark due to a production error, creating one of the rarest varieties of modern Lincoln cents. The 1984 penny itself is composed of copper-plated zinc. Unlike earlier pennies that were mostly copper, by the 1980s the U.S. Mint had shifted to a primarily zinc composition with a thin copper layer. This makes the coin lighter than the older, solid copper pennies, but the metal itself isn't what drives collectors wild. Instead, it's the story behind the minting error and the sheer rarity of pennies produced without the mint mark in that year. In terms of design, there's nothing visually different at first glance. Lincoln's portrait remains dignified and consistent. The word liberty is engraved to the left, and the year 1984 stands clearly to the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, tiny but detailed, with the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. The magic of this coin doesn't lie in an obvious feature. It's hidden in what the eye doesn't immediately see, the missing mint mark. So, why is this penny considered rare? Minting errors like this are unusual, especially in modern coins. By the 1980s, the United States Mint had extremely precise machinery and quality control systems in place. Coins without mint marks were not supposed to exist. When one does slip through, it's immediately flagged by collectors as a mistake worth preserving. Estimates suggest that only a very small number of 1984 pennies were struck without the mint mark, making them incredibly scarce. Scarcity, combined with demand from collectors of modern errors, is what drives the high market value of this coin. Real-world examples show just how valuable these coins can be. In recent years, 1984 no-mint mark pennies in uncirculated condition have appeared at auction and sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Some rare specimens graded as flawless or near flawless have even reached six-figure sums. While the exact numbers fluctuate depending on market conditions, one thing is clear: this penny is no longer a simple piece of pocket change. It has become a coveted collectible capable of transforming a casual collector's portfolio. Identifying a genuine 1984 no-mint mark penny is critical. Many coins sold online or in small shops are replicas or altered to mimic the missing mint mark. A real coin will have all the standard details of a 1984 penny, but without any letter near the date. Professional grading by a reputable service is highly recommended, especially for coins that appear to be in mint condition. Slight differences in the font, spacing, or depth of the date can indicate authenticity or tampering, so careful inspection is key. Collectors often rely on microscopes or magnifying lenses to confirm that no mint mark exists and that the coin hasn't been altered after leaving the mint. There are some fun and surprising details about this coin that make it even more intriguing. For one, the lack of a mint mark is not visible to the casual observer. You could have one in your pocket right now without realizing it. Another interesting fact is that coins with minting errors often generate excitement in the collecting community far beyond their face value. Some enthusiasts hunt specifically for modern era coins like the 1984 no mint mark penny, because they combine the familiarity of a modern coin with the thrill of rarity usually reserved for much older coins. Collectors are drawn to this coin for a variety of reasons. Beyond its potential financial value, it represents a tangible piece of minting history. Owning one is like holding a secret, a modern-day anomaly that escaped the meticulous processes of the U.S. Mint. It's a story, a mystery, and a piece of art all wrapped into a single small coin. Many collectors view it as a centerpiece for a collection of modern errors, while others see it as a potential investment that could appreciate over time. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a curiosity. It's a lesson in the unexpected. It reminds us that even everyday objects, things we might overlook or consider worthless, can hold extraordinary stories and immense value. Next time you glance at a jar of pennies, take a closer look. You never know if one of them could be the key to uncovering a rare piece of American history or a coin worth more than you ever imagined. And that's the mystery and allure of the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin that looks ordinary, yet carries a story extraordinary enough to captivate collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. Could the next rare penny be hiding in your pocket change, waiting for someone like you to discover it? The next time you pick up a penny, maybe you'll see it with completely new eyes, wondering if it's hiding a secret that could change everything. This coin reminds us that history, value, and curiosity often hide in plain sight. And who knows, your next encounter with a penny could be the beginning of a story that's worth far more than just 1 cent. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people passed by, yet only a few collectors truly appreciate its story. A coin that looks ordinary, yet carries hidden value in its tiny details. Today, we're exploring one such coin, the 1991 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may seem like any other penny in your pocket, but this small copper disc hides a fascinating tale that has captured the attention of coin collectors across the United States. The 1991 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of pennies honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. First minted in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, the Lincoln cent quickly became a staple of American coinage. Over the decades, the design has evolved slightly, but the basic elements have remained the same. Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, facing right, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, symbolizing the nation's respect for his enduring legacy. The 1991 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is denoted by the small d stamped beneath the date. In 1991, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, with the Denver facility alone responsible for over 3 billion coins that year. The reason for producing so many coins was simple. The economy was healthy, transactions were frequent, and pennies were still an essential part of daily commerce. While most of these pennies circulated for everyday purchases and were often lost or destroyed over time, a small portion was saved by collectors, either in rolls, albums, or loose change jars, and it is from these coins that today's rarities emerge. The 1991 D Lincoln penny is composed primarily of copper-plated zinc, which was standard for pennies from 1982 onward. Each coin weighs just 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. The obverse features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the year 1991 alongside the Denver Mint mark. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute added in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. While the design may seem ordinary, There are small details that can make a particular 1991 D penny stand out to collectors, including minor die errors, double strikes, or variations in the metal composition. So what makes the 1991 D penny rare or valuable? On the surface, it's a coin that was minted in the billions, so scarcity might not seem obvious. However, collectors look beyond simple mintage numbers. Condition plays a crucial role. A penny that has remained uncirculated, with sharp details and no scratches, can command a premium. Additionally, coins with rare errors, such as misaligned dies, doubled images, or missing elements, can be exceptionally valuable. For example, a 1991 D penny with a noticeable double die on the date or the letters, "In God We Trust," could fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, simply because such errors are uncommon and highly sought after by collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents. To give a sense of real-world value, consider recent auction results and collector sales. A standard circulated 1991 D penny may only be worth its face value of 1 cent, but an uncirculated example graded MS65 by a reputable grading company could sell for $15 to $30. A coin with a notable minting error or in near-perfect condition could climb to $100 or more. Some rare double-die variations, when confirmed and authenticated, have been known to reach several $100s, demonstrating that even coins minted in enormous quantities can hold surprising value when unique characteristics are present. Identifying a genuine 1991 D Lincoln penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. First, check the mint mark beneath the date. It should be a crisp D representing Denver. Examine the details of Lincoln's profile, the lines in his hair, the contours of his face, and the lettering on both sides. Authentic coins will have consistent thickness and a smooth, even rim. If the penny is claimed to be an error or valuable variety, it's important to compare it with verified reference images from trusted coin guides. Any suspicious coins, especially those claiming to be double dies or rare errors, should be verified by a professional grading service to ensure authenticity. This is essential because the market does see counterfeit or altered pennies, often designed to trick casual collectors. Beyond rarity and value, the 1991 D Lincoln penny has several fun and surprising details that make it interesting even to casual observers. Did you know that while billions were minted, only a fraction of them retained their original luster? Most pennies are handled countless times, acquiring scratches, dents, and discoloration. This means that the coins you find in circulation today are rarely in pristine condition, making a high-grade 1991 D penny increasingly desirable. Additionally, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse contains a tiny statue of Lincoln, which can be seen under magnification, a miniature tribute hidden in plain sight. Such details may seem trivial, but they fascinate collectors who appreciate both the artistry and the history behind the coin. Collectors also love the 1991 D penny for the sense of nostalgia it evokes. For many, pennies from the late 20th century are tied to childhood memories, first allowances, and trips to the corner store. Holding a coin from 1991 can feel like holding a piece of personal history, a tangible connection to the past. Coin collecting isn't just about monetary value. It's about preserving stories, witnessing subtle changes in design and production, and celebrating the artistry of everyday objects. The 1991 D penny embodies all of this, making it a beloved item in collections large and small. Today, collectors continue to search for the 1991 D Lincoln penny, scanning rolls of change, estate sales, and auctions in hopes of finding that one coin that stands out. Whether it's a near-perfect uncirculated example, a rare error, or simply a well-preserved coin with a clear mint mark, the 1991 D penny holds a quiet allure. It reminds us that even the smallest, most ordinary items can carry stories of craftsmanship, history, and hidden value, waiting for someone to notice. So next time you find a penny on the sidewalk or dig through a jar of change, take a moment to look closely. You might be holding a coin that connects you to over a century of American history, a coin that collectors treasure, and a coin that, if lucky, could surprise you with real value. The 1991 D. Lincoln penny may appear simple, but as with many coins, its true worth lies in the details, the history, and the careful eyes of those who know how to appreciate it. Keep searching, keep examining, and remember, sometimes the most ordinary objects can reveal extraordinary stories. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and realizing it could be worth thousands, or even more, than its face value. A coin so ordinary at first glance, yet hiding a secret that has collectors and enthusiasts around the world whispering with excitement. That coin is the 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a small piece of history that carries a big story. Today, we're diving deep into this intriguing coin, exploring its history, its quirks, and why it has captured the attention of collectors for decades. The 1967 Lincoln penny is a 1-cent coin, part of the famous Lincoln cent series that has been circulating since 1909. It features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the front of the coin, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial dominates the coin's surface, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. For most people, it's just another penny, something you might find in your pocket or under the couch cushions. But for collectors, the 1967 penny, especially those without a mint mark, tells a story about the United States, its economy, and a very unusual year in coin production. The year 1967 was unique in American coin history. The United States was experiencing a coin shortage, a situation that had been building for several years. Demand for coins had skyrocketed with economic growth, but production struggled to keep up. That year, the U.S. Mint decided to make a bold move. They limited the distribution of mint marks on pennies. Typically, coins carried a small letter indicating where they were minted, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. In 1967, many pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. This decision, combined with the ongoing copper shortage, set the stage for what would become one of the more interesting Lincoln cents in history. The 1967 penny is made primarily of copper, specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was just a couple of years before the switch to a mostly zinc composition in 1982. Its design, as mentioned, features Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. While it may appear ordinary, the lack of a mint mark makes it stand out. Collectors often pay attention to these small details. Even the tiniest deviation or variation can transform a coin from a simple penny into a sought-after collectible. Some 1967 pennies also show minor errors, like doubled dies or off-center strikes, though these are much rarer and highly prized when discovered. So, why is the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny considered valuable? The rarity isn't extreme compared to coins from other years, but it's enough to make the penny notable among collectors. The lack of a mint mark means the coin could have been struck at multiple mints, creating a certain ambiguity and curiosity. Collectors are fascinated by coins that have small, subtle variations, especially when they represent a unique moment in history. Additionally, the 1967 penny is one of the last in the series to feature primarily copper content before the composition change in the early 1980s, which adds to its appeal. Real auction records illustrate how these pennies can capture attention. While most circulated 1967 no mint mark pennies sell for just a few dollars in typical coin shops, uncirculated or high-grade examples have fetched much higher prices. Some rare specimens graded as M-SMINIS 65 or above by professional coin grading services can reach hundreds or even over $1,000, depending on their condition. There have also been instances where a penny with a noticeable minting error or exceptional quality has sold for several $1,000s at auction. These examples show that even coins you might overlook in your jar of spare change could be hiding something remarkable. Identifying a genuine 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't difficult once you know what to look for. First, examine the absence of a mint mark beneath the date on the front of the coin. The metal should be consistent with the 95% copper composition typical of that year. The Lincoln portrait and the Lincoln memorial on the reverse should have sharp, well-defined details, particularly on uncirculated specimens. Fakes and altered coins often have inconsistencies in the lettering or slightly off proportions in the design. Using a magnifying glass to inspect the coin's surface and consulting with reputable grading guides can help collectors avoid mistakes. High-quality coins are often authenticated by professional grading services, which adds a layer of confidence when buying or selling. There are also some fun and surprising details about the 1967 penny that make it even more fascinating. For instance, while it was a year of coin shortages, the no mint mark decision was part of a larger experiment in coin production management. The mint was trying to balance demand, production capacity, and metal costs, a challenge that resonates with anyone interested in the economy or government operations. Some collectors even search for coins with slight color variations, like deeper reddish tones in the copper, which can indicate a coin that was preserved under certain environmental conditions. These subtle characteristics make each penny a unique piece of history, even if it looks like every other coin at first glance. Collectors love the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today, not just for its monetary value, but for its story. It represents a time of transition in U.S. coinage, a moment when the country faced practical challenges that influenced everyday life, even down to the pennies in people's pockets. Owning one is like holding a small piece of history, a tangible link to the past. Coin collectors often talk about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of spotting a coin that tells a story beyond its face value. And the 1967 penny delivers that experience in a simple, accessible way. The allure of the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is also in its mystery. How many exist in pristine condition? How many were lost, spent, or melted down over the years? Each coin that surfaces today is a survivor, a witness to decades of history. Whether you find one in a change jar, at a flea market, or in a collection passed down through generations, there is a sense of wonder in holding a coin that many people might never notice. Even today, collectors keep a keen eye on this penny, hoping to find examples with unusual traits or exceptional preservation. Some hunt for coins with slight die variations or unusual toning. Others focus purely on high-grade specimens that have never been circulated. Every 1967 no-mint mark penny carries the potential to surprise, whether it's in a monetary sense or as a piece of history. And this is what makes it so captivating. A coin that seems ordinary can suddenly reveal itself as extraordinary. So, next time you come across a Lincoln penny from 1967, take a closer look. Notice the details, feel the weight, and imagine the journey it has taken over more than 50 years. You might just be holding more than a piece of copper. You could be holding a piece of history, a collector's treasure, and a story waiting to be discovered. And while most pennies are overlooked, this one reminds us that even the smallest objects can hold the largest secrets. Could the next penny you pick up be hiding something remarkable? The answer might be closer than you think. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a testament to history, a symbol of curiosity, and a reminder that treasures can be found in the most ordinary places. Keep your eyes open, examine every detail, and who knows, you could be holding a small, simple coin with an extraordinary story. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin so ordinary in appearance that most people overlook it, yet so fascinating that collectors search for it obsessively. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1979 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might look like just another copper penny, but beneath its familiar design lies a story that spans decades, mistakes that made it rare, and a value that has surprised collectors across the country. If you've ever wondered how an everyday coin can become a prized collector's item, this is one you won't want to miss. The 1979 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. These pennies are some of the most recognizable coins in the United States, featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The D Mint mark signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the country's primary coin production facilities. While millions of pennies were struck that year, a few stand out for reasons that make collectors pay close attention. In 1979, the United States was in a period of economic change. Inflation was rising, gas prices were high, and everyday coins circulated faster than ever. The Lincoln cent, made primarily from copper at that time, continued to serve as a symbol of stability in American currency. Though it might seem ordinary, the 1979 D penny is part of a fascinating slice of history, capturing a moment when the coinage system was transitioning, but still firmly rooted in tradition. This penny was struck from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a distinctive reddish-brown tone that collectors still admire today. The obverse shows Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. While these design elements were consistent across all pennies of the era, certain subtle differences and production quirks make the 1979 D Lincoln penny particularly interesting. One of the most notable aspects of this coin is its potential for mint errors, which can drastically increase its value. For example, die cracks, doubled dies, or off-center strikes can occur during the minting process. While not every 1979 D penny has such errors, a small number do exist, and they are highly sought after by collectors. Even pennies without errors can be valuable if they are in exceptional condition, known as uncirculated or mint state, where the coin shows no signs of wear and retains its original luster. So why is the 1979 D Lincoln penny rare or valuable? In general, rarity comes from a combination of factors, including how many coins were produced, how many have survived in good condition, and whether there are any unique errors. The 1979 D penny was struck in the hundreds of millions, so it might seem like every collector could easily find one. However, coins that are perfectly preserved or that contain unusual minting mistakes are scarce. That scarcity, coupled with a passionate collector base, is what gives these pennies their value. Real-world examples show just how collectible this coin can be. In recent years, auctions and online marketplaces have listed high-grade 1979 D Lincoln pennies for prices ranging from a few dollars for circulated examples to hundreds of dollars for coins with rare errors. One particular penny, showing a slight doubled die on the obverse, sold for several $100s, a striking increase compared to its face value of 1 cent. These sales highlight the potential for what might seem like a simple coin to carry significant worth for collectors who know what to look for. Identifying a real 1979 D Lincoln penny is easier than you might think, but it requires attention to detail. Genuine coins will have the D mint mark below the date on the obverse, clear and consistent lettering, and the characteristic reddish tone of copper. Be cautious of coins that appear unusually shiny or have lettering that looks off, as these could be polished, altered, or counterfeit coins. If a coin seems exceptionally valuable, It is often worth having it professionally graded by a reputable service, which certifies its authenticity and condition. There are also some fun and surprising details about the 1979 D. Lincoln penny that make it a favorite among collectors. For instance, some coins show very minor variations in the placement of the mint mark, or slight differences in Lincoln's hair and beard, tiny quirks caused by the dyes used at the Denver Mint. These small variations are a delight for numismatists, who love to compare coins and notice the subtle differences that make each one unique. Additionally, many collectors enjoy hunting for the penny and change, adding a sense of treasure-seeking adventure to what might otherwise be a simple errand. Collectors love the 1979 D. Lincoln penny today not just for its potential monetary value, but for its connection to history. Holding one of these pennies is like holding a snapshot of the United States in 1979, a time of cultural and economic shifts, captured in copper and zinc. It's also a testament to the artistry of coin design and the care involved in minting money. For many, collecting coins is about more than profit. It's about preserving a tangible piece of the past, and the 1979 D. Lincoln penny is a perfect example of that. Even decades later, this humble coin continues to intrigue and excite collectors. The thrill of finding a rare error, the satisfaction of spotting an uncirculated example, or simply appreciating the historical context makes the 1979 D. Lincoln penny more than just pocket change. Each coin has a story, and those stories resonate with people who value history, craftsmanship, and the excitement of discovery. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you find a seemingly ordinary penny on the sidewalk or in a jar at home, it could be a 1979 D. Lincoln penny, quietly holding a piece of history and potentially a hidden treasure. Every coin carries the potential to surprise, to connect you to the past, and to spark curiosity. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys the thrill of the hunt, the 1979 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that even the smallest objects can hold remarkable stories. Keep an eye out, because the next rare coin might be just around the corner, waiting to be discovered.